Hi everyone, how you doing? I hope you're well. So today I'm going to look at information messages from Spirit for the month of July 2023. And this morning I drew a card, an oracle card off camera, and for this month I selected Work Your Light by Rebecca Campbell, and the actual card is called Trust Your Path. It's interesting. Obviously, the messages coming from the card are going to feel different depending on your situation. I feel, first of all, people are going through some major changes in their lives. Maybe they moving towards uncharted territory. They're a bit nervous. They wonder if basically they are on the right path. Some major changes are taking place, and it's quite overwhelming. But I feel the main message is a message to light workers and star seeds. Looking at messages on social media, especially, I can see some star seeds and light workers are feeling tired at the moment. They're questioning a lot about being on their path, the work they've done so far. And it's interesting, I'm hearing now as humans, and this is normal, when you do so much positive work towards something, um, you want proof that you're doing well, I suppose, to be reassured. But it's all about instant gratification. And I feel the message coming from this card from Spirit is a message of encouragement and saying you're doing fine, you're doing well. Just keep going, trust, have faith. You are on the right path. And it's interesting because I experienced something last week, and I'm going to share that with you in a few minutes, very much related to this. But before that, going back to the first message, more for people who are going through major changes in their lives. And but things are not happening as fast as expected. My advice would be that don't try to micromanage spirit. Things will unfold in divine timing. You need to be patient. You need to have the faith and the trust of your work, the collaboration you do with spirit. So I just wanted that out of the way. Going back to the experience I had last week, it was related to the riots, the violence that took place in France, in my country, last week. It was interesting because the human side, of course, I was triggered. I don't like violence. And some of the scenes were quite extreme, but very quickly I was invited to look at the situation from a different perspective or higher perspective. And it was interesting because I drew a card from an oracle deck about this, and I had a beautiful message which was very similar. It's called Observe, beautiful owl. And the message on the card is loving eyes see all, see the truth, step back. And it's true. If you want to look at a situation from a different perspective or from a higher perspective, we need to be more in a place of observing and stepping back. The problem is, and I can hear it right now, especially empath, people who feel all these energies, especially chaotic energies, will say to me, you know what? Easy said than done. How can we step back and observe when we're feeling all these energies? And I agree. I totally agree. It's not easy. But what I would say to you is being an empath doesn't have to be a curse. And what I'm going to do, I'll share the link down below in the description box. I recorded a few months ago an episode on my podcast about a message to empath, and I'm sharing basically my journey as an empath and what to do to improve, not to be so involved emotionally as an empath in, yeah, drastic situations, I would call them. And it was interesting experiencing this last week and being more like in the place of an observer. You suddenly look more at the deep-rooted cause of the situation, like the chaotic situation happening in France. It doesn't mean that I have my own opinion about it. Of course, I do have. But it's looking at the situation not on a superficial level, but more on the deep-rooted cause going back in the case of the riots in France. I would say 30, 50 years ago, where successive governments totally ignored the situation. And I feel right now it comes to a point where situations like this can't be ignored. And I feel there will be more riots in France. There is no question about it. And we're not talking about France only. It could happen anywhere in the world. But rather than being so involved emotionally as an empath, we are invited to observe and look at difficult situations like this from a different perspective and higher perspective. So that was the message I got. Trust your path. So it's all about just do your best, shine your light, and just keep going. Show up, do your best. Yes, you'll have days where you're going to say, do you know what? I'm fed up. Looking at the collective, things are not moving forward. But guess what? We have to be reminded at the end of the day that the change starts with us as individual. So it's all about doing your best and things will unfold the right way. Um, and it's interesting because I was not surprised to see the Trust Your Path card because it's rather challenging for us starseed and light workers at the moment. But keep doing it. Keep doing it. It's interesting. I'm going to take a note of something they're showing me now, and I'll mention it later on. Sorry, I've got allergies. I feel my nose is quite blocked. Okay, now what I would like to do is like I usually do, I'm going to pull a few tarot cards and see what spirits wants to share with us. So I'm going to use the Starchild Tarot. So let's see what spirit wants to add to the Trust Your Path. One more. So I'll pull 3 cards and see if we need any more. But we should be okay. Okay. So that's interesting. Some tarot decks will have different names for some of the cards, especially major arcana, than the traditional tarot deck. And this is an example there. But that's fine. I know which cards they are. Okay, bear with me a few seconds. Yes, that's interesting. Okay, the first card is the Seven of Cups. So the Seven of Cups is a card of contemplation and choices. So it's clear here. The fact we've got the trust your path and suddenly we've got the Seven of Cups, some people will be questioning a lot of things. Okay, personal lives, collectively, what do I do next? You've got several options. Some of them are better than others, but it's the time of making a choice. It's not about rushing into it. It's about taking the time to look at the options, um, to take a break and look at each option. And the main advice here is to follow your heart. Okay. Trust your intuition when the choice is made. That's what I'm hearing. And it's interesting, okay, related to the light, to the message to the light workers and starseeds. I know some of you already, you're asking yourself the questions, but what is my mission? How do I do it? Which is a fair question, basically. And my recommendation would be if you follow what lights you up, you will light up the world without even trying. So, going back to the options, choose the one that is obvious to you, that's going to bring you joy, that's going to increase your vibration, something you can share with the world that you are passionate about and bring joys. So if it's something that lights you up, you can't go wrong. This is what I'm getting right now about the Seven of Cups. That's a brilliant, actually, quote. I'm sure I'm going to use it in a post on Facebook. But yes, if you follow what lights you up, you're going to light up the world without even trying. It's going to come naturally. And it's interesting, I've been reminded as well, and I've been talking about it for 2 years now, the importance of being part of a local community. And I feel some of you, what you are meant to do and what lights you up will be within your community. It could be anything. It could be helping people who have, for example, less money, working for charities, sharing your wisdom, sharing your knowledge. And I'm hearing artists as well. Share your passion, share your creation. So it could be a painting, it could be music, it could be so many different things. But what we need to realize is doing this exactly, following and sharing what lights you up within the community will have ripple effects in the world. So bear that in mind. When you look at those different options, if you have them, just follow your heart, follow your intuition. Now, the next card is called Serenity. And the Serenity card is basically the Hermit card in a more traditional deck. So the Hermit card is about to take some time off. It's about reevaluating, it's about contemplation. It's a time, if you need guidance, inner guidance, it's time to go within to get that inner guidance if needed. If you are feeling confused about the number of options available. And I feel as well, very much related to what I shared with you for the Trust Your Path card. I think the Hermit is inviting us to look at your life from a deeper, more spiritual understanding. So, I just mentioned early on, from a different perspective, from a higher perspective as well, will help you as well to prioritize what you need to do. So, if you feel really lost and confused, it's time to go within, to ask for inner guidance, maybe contemplate, reevaluate. And there is as well an aspect, and I'm going to mention it for the last card, which is called the universe. And the universe is basically the world card in a traditional tarot deck. The world card is showing you have achieved a lot. It's about completion of a cycle where lessons were learned. And there is a message there as well of encouragement. If you're not quite there yet, you're nearly there. Maybe there are a few more lessons to be learned, but not to basically give up. And one aspect as well with the world card is the element of closure, okay, where lessons have been learned and you go up like one level. And I sense for some of you, yes, you are so close, but so tired as well, because it's been going on for quite a while. It's almost like I'm hearing spirit saying to you, don't give up. You're nearly there. You're nearly at the finish line. You are embracing what you're supposed to do. You're doing very well, but don't give up. I mean, if you look at the three cards here, Seven of Cups, yes, we have free will. Some of us will have options. And it's all about trusting your heart, your gut feeling. If you feel really stuck, if you feel very confused, it's time to take a break. It's time to reassess. It's time to contemplate. Ask for inner guidance, looking at life from a deeper, more spiritual meaning to prioritize where you need to go. And eventually the world will show you, you know what, you've done so much work. Well done. You closing that cycle where lessons were learned. And it's interesting, the note, I write a note there because Spirit showed me a clear picture. Um, and the picture was full of messages here. Going back to trust your path. I'm hearing, shine on. Keep doing it. Shine on. And the image I was shown was a cliff, a white cliff, right in the middle, surrounded by rough waters, stormy waters. And on top of the cliff, there is a lighthouse, which is a brilliant analogy for us light workers and starseeds. Yes, shine on. Keep doing what you've been doing. You are a beacon of light for this world. We need to remind ourselves. And you can do it on a daily basis within your community to follow what lights you up and share it with the world. That's it, basically. I know it sounds very simple, but I think it's a strong reminder for people who feel disillusioned, tired, frustrated in this moment in time. But please don't give up. Your work as a starseed and light worker is appreciated and important for the collective at large. It's not the time to give up. So shine on, keep doing what you've been doing. You're on track. That's what I'm hearing. So that's it for this month. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking and sharing. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel to receive future notifications, for future videos. And if you are interested to get a personal reading, please check my website. The link will be down below in the description box. And until next time, take care of yourself. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.